Hey, this is Toby Lyles with 24 Sound for the Learn Podcast Production Podcast. Hey, just real quick, just going to show you today how to export from Garageband. This is super basic and super simple, and you're not going to have any problem with this. So here we have 2 tracks. Now, when you're recording, you always want to record into 2 tracks unless you're using just one microphone. But if you have 2 microphones, microphone number 1 needs to be up here, and phone number 2 needs to be down here. And that's just simply, assign this to input 1. So if you want to know how to do that, we use track, new track. And it's going to say input 1 or input 2. So if this is, the first microphone is probably going to be input 1, the second input 2, wherever you have it plugged in, it needs to be assigned and routed to that. So that's real simple with GarageBand. And then when you're going to export it, it's all about panning. So if you have 2 tracks, which is most common, you simply just take this and you can pan the top one, usually the host. So whoever is the host is going to be on the left side. And if you're doing this, especially if you're sending it to somebody for post-production, you want to keep everything in the same arrangement. So your host needs to always be on the left side, or just pick one, stick with it. And then of course, the guest needs to be on the, whoop. There we go. The guest needs to be on the right side. So there you go. You've done it. And then when you export this, they're going to come out as separate. So when you put it all the way on the left and this all the way on the right, what that does is separates it out into 2 separate tracks. Now, alternatively, you could also do this, and you could export, you can mute right here, and you could export one track, and then you can mute the other track and export the other track. And instead of giving you a stereo file, that actually gives you 2 individual files. So that's perfectly fine as well, whatever suits your needs. If you have more than 2 tracks, that would be the way to do it. So if you have more than 2 tracks, 3 or 4, then you mute everything except for one and individually send them out. Now, I know that's a little bit complicated. That's just GarageBand for you. So they don't really, the GarageBand is made to sum everything together, and that's just, they're intending you to make final songs. So if you want to be any more detailed, you're sending it out to somebody else, just make sure that you're separating your tracks. And when you're recording, make sure you're separating your tracks. So that's it, as simple as it is. Hope that helps. Thanks. Go out and make the world sound great.